roof. That roof is like the fear that we're feeling. That roof could be the trauma that we're working through. And so the book is about raising that roof so we can grow some more. So
Hello, viewers. Welcome to another episode of the Nanaya Yabua podcast. I am with Mr. Karl Subban in the studio. I'm going to summarize his bio for you guys, and then he can delve into it a lot more because it's a long bio. He is, number one, a grandfather. He is a father. He is an author, a husband. He is a motivational speaker and many more. He's also a leadership coach. I connected with him regarding a book he wrote. But not only that, when I immigrated into the country and I heard about hockey, I saw a couple of black kids skating. Now, I cannot skate to save my life. And I was wondering, what were these children skating on the ice for? But the name Subban kept ringing. And I started to dig in a little bit, and that's where I became aware of who they are and the man behind it. But years pass, you don't pay attention, life gets in the way. And then LinkedIn, thanks to LinkedIn, I connect, I see what he's doing, the coaching, and with my platform and the intention of my platform to curate and also provide an opportunity masterclass from wisdom holders and keepers such as himself, I reached out and he said yes. And so that is why we are here to learn from him based on his experience, how a father of five was able to bring the family unit together around the Rexdale area, from Sudbury to Rexdale. I don't know how you did it. Welcome to the Nanaya Ayabwa podcast.
yes, thank you, and thank you for having me. Happy to be here. We've only been together a short little time, but we've been, wow, having so much fun.
Indeed, indeed. We started laughing even before we said hello and hi to each other. I don't know why,
Um,
but I think the universe is everything is in alignment. That is why.
yeah.
So, Mr. Suba, before we get into the nitty gritty of everything, as a Ghanaian and a Khan, I got intrigued by your last name, Subban. Where is it from?
I was born in Jamaica. Um, my mom is a full-blooded Negro, and my dad is 90% Indian. My dad's father came from India, and
Mm.
so that's why I have the last name Subban. I heard the Subban came from the northern part of India. I'm not sure, but um, Jamaica is very mixed that way. And where I'm from, there are Jamaican Indians and blacks and whites and Asians. So, but yeah, so that's where the name came from.
I was doing the research on the name as an account person. That is why I asked you that question. So when I was doing the research, it said 24% African, mainly South African, and 24% Urdu.
Right?
So it's
Yeah.
like now it's making sense.
Yes.
If not, then I would have given you the Ghanaian meaning of Subang, the name.
I want
But
it. I want it. I want it. Come on, you can't keep me in suspense here.
oh my goodness. So in Akan language, Subang is a two-word meaning, usu, which loosely translates in English as character. But if delved into it, it's like how do we call it? Your qualities that makes you into an individual.
Wow.
And then a buy is how do I best it's like it's one of the Edinkra symbols which denotes something that boundaries.
Hmm.
So when we say Subai, it's like you have a good character. Usubai yefe. You have a good character. Or
Wow.
usubai inyefe. You don't have a good character.
Yes.
So knowing your background was Jamaican, I was wondering, was it Marus? How did you get this last name? Because I can't break down, it makes sense. But then when you said Indian as well, and I know coming from Urdu, then it's also
Yes.
making sense. Yes.
Thank you for enlightening me. Wow. And I don't mind the word character being connected to who I am and to my last name. And wow, that is powerful stuff.
It is. It is. So I'm glad I got that out of the way. I'm glad I got that out. Yeah. So you've given us a little bit of your background, growing up in Jamaica and then coming to Canada. How did growing up in Jamaica, coming to Canada, inform your psychological makeup to be the man you are today?
First of all, that's a very good question. I am the person I am today because of the family that brought me into this world. I grew up with my mom and dad, and they gave us, I have three other brothers, and they gave us the most important thing I believe all young children need. We know they need protection and shelter and
Mm-hmm,
all that, but it's just love.
mm-hmm,
Love, 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 and they loved us, and my extended family in those days. And I grew up,
mm-hmm,
living close to my great grandparents, my grandparents, and so the influence of my family continues to influence me today, on many levels.
mm-hmm,
They were people who were really good at doing something. My dad was a diesel mechanic. My mom was a seamstress, and would make wedding dresses, made my school uniform, and if you're getting married, she'd bake you your wedding cake, and then she would decorate it. And I have uncles who are very skilled, from being auto mechanic to welders. So I grew up in an environment where people, they wanted to do something, and
mm-hmm,
they wanted to become more than
mm-hmm,
they were. And the last part is, um, another important influence.
mm-hmm,
My grandmother started a church in Jamaica. It is still standing today. And so, they were connected to the community, through the church, through giving back. And my mom and dad were the same way in Sudbury.
mm-hmm,
Our home, our house was like a meeting place, a gathering place for everyone,
mm-hmm,
not just for the Jamaicans who were there, and African people we knew, but also for the white people who were around us. And
mm-hmm.
so my family has really influenced me in such a way to help me to be who I am today.
Beautiful. And I could tell with your children, it's passed on to your children and your grandchildren. When I was reading the book you wrote a couple of years back, How We Did It.
Yes.
Yes, that this was published in 2018. The Vintage Canada edition was published in 2018.
Yes.
And so, guys, if you haven't seen, this is the book, How We Did It, written by Karl Subban and Scott Colby. The Subban Plan for Success in Hockey School and Life. And it's been a beautiful read. and your children talk about growing up with you? Apparently, you are the yeller.
Well, I think, you know, being a school principal, I never needed, I never used a microphone. So, and those who have, because I do a lot of public speaking,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I'd walk into a school and I said, no, I don't need the mic. So sometimes I don't have a soft voice. That's just who I am. You know what I mean? That's just what it is.
You already know how to project. That is so nice. That is so nice. Um, you also do talk about dreams and the importance of dreams. What if your children do not share your dreams?
Um,
I, I,
that's a good thing because, you know, we want our children to, um, you know, to be and to become who they want to be and who they want to be to become. But you know, um, I like the idea of having dreams for them,
mhm,
and because, you know, because I've lived a life of chasing my dreams.
mm,
And my dad, growing up in Jamaica, I played cricket, and I
mm,
had a dream to play cricket for the West Indies. And I don't know if my dad shared that dream, but that's a dream I had. And so I know the importance of dreams. It gives us focus, directions. It just keeps us on the right path. It's really motivating, and so
mm,
I wouldn't want to live a life without dream because that has helped to shape my life. And so when my children came into this world, I really didn't have this dream for them to be an educator because both my daughters are educators, and I did not have a dream for my boys to become professional hockey players. But in my home, we had books, and, and there were so many things in that environment to stimulate them
mhm,
academically with my boys and my daughters to sports, um, uh, playing sports,
mhm,
um, playing sports, different sports like cricket, basketball, volleyball. These are things that I did and enjoyed. So I shared those things with them. And then eventually, with my sons, it grew into
mhm,
something that they love and into this big dream to make the NHL. But I'll share this with you, a story I like to share with people. My second son, Malcolm, he's a goalie. And like for those people who are not hockey fans, but some of them are football fans, you know,
mhm,
soccer, and there's a goalie. So hockey, there is a goalie in on the ice, and there's one on the bench. Each team has two goalies, and he always wanted to be a goalie, but I didn't know. And he was such a great player. You know, it was such a great
mhm,
player. And if you would have asked me, um, if Malcolm, if I thought he would make it as a player, because I would have said yes. Because when you look at him compared to the other kids in his age group, I'm not saying he was better than all of them, but he was right there. And then
mhm.
one day he said, Daddy, if I can't be a goalie, then I'm going to quit playing hockey.
Whoa.
And yeah, because you know what? If it's my dream, the chances are he's not going to see it to the end,
Mhm,
and he's
mm,
only doing it for me. And
mhm,
so I got out of the way. You know, as parents, we clear the way, pave the way, get out of the way, and I got out
mm.
of the way. And eventually, he was drafted to the National Hockey League in the first round, not because of me, you know, because that's what he wanted to do, and that is a great sense
Mhm.
to have, and to do something that you want to do that's in your heart. It makes us powerful, and it made him powerful, and that's why today he's still living that dream.
Oh wow, that is beautiful. At one point in time, I thought I saw a letter that I wrote when I was a kid in Ghana to my dad here, talking about my dreams of being a doctor, a physician. It didn't happen because I realized
Yeah.
I realized that I don't have that head for the number of cramming and the books, and I didn't really like science. I don't even know how I ended up in a science class. I,
But I was going to say to you though, I had this like dreams are such. It's really hard to find our way in life
Mhm.
if we're not working through dreams. And you're right, we don't accomplish or reach all of our dreams. And it's like if you were to, when my grandfather, he had a farm,
Mhm.
and not every tree on that farm produced fruits. But those that did not produce fruits, they still served a purpose. So even those dreams that you're not reaching or fulfilling, they still served you on many levels if you think about them. Because maybe without that dream, you would not be doing what you're doing today. So
That is true. I didn't go to journalism, but this is the part of it that thanks to social media, I'm able to do similar to journalists what they do, have beautiful conversations and not be boxed into specific, frameworks. But I ended up being a nurse. So
yeah,
that's the
yeah.
process I got.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
and like I said,
Hmm.
I had this dream to play basketball in the NBA, and it took me to university. And while I
Hmm.
was there, I discovered something about myself I didn't know, that I love working with children.
Oh.
And then I went into teachers college, and from that dream to be an educator, I became a school principal. Then I became an author, and now I'm a public speaker. So dreams are, they're like a tree, that grows many branches, and sometimes that tree will grow some really amazing fruits.
Mr. Subban, did you see my guided notes here? You answered all my questions in one go.
I'll just
I had my guided questions. You just in one sentence answered them all.
yeah, because you're talking about dreams, and I, what I like, if you let me continue, I know you have your questions. I don't want to take
Please.
over, but when
No,
you
no,
think
please
about our
do.
potential,
Mhm.
because I speak a lot about potential, and I did a little bit of reading around your work, and I saw the word potential, and I believe that everyone was born with potential. It was our gift at birth, and when we're realizing it, it helps us to be a gift to the world. And and um and and but potential, you know i um, I say to people that it looks like a stool with three legs. Think about a stool with three legs.
Yes.
Yeah, and one leg is you as a dreamer. That's your dream leg. I love the word
Okay.
dream, or your vision, or whatever goal you're working on, or it's your why leg. And
Yeah.
the second leg is your belief leg.
Yes.
Without belief, sorry, without you believing in yourself and your abilities, I don't know, where you're going to end up. And the third leg is the leg of you being a doer, because every dream, for it to, if you don't make your dream actionable, you'll never realize them. All you're doing is daydreaming. So that's why when you asked me the question about dreams, I just sort of took off like a rocket. And there's more to that. Yeah.
I just wanted to give you a little trouble, but good trouble, because it's beautiful if and when a person is able to answer everything in one that I don't need to ask. That indicates to me that there is a perfect flow, and we are intended to be here at this particular point in time to spread this message. So, um, we've talked about life, being a father and you instilling and supporting the dreams of your children and they maturing and growing. They are all adults now, and you're a grandfather. Before I get there, I need to do this, which is pay homage to your wife, Maria, appreciate her as the matriarch, because it's very important. Being a single parent, it is difficult, but being a mother of five, I'm a labor and delivery nurse. The pace of childbirth, it ain't easy. And she did it 5 times and raised these children. So, Daddy, you can be a yeller, but I gotta give it to Maria. In fact, I dedicate this to her. You may be speaking, but this is dedicated to her for being the kind of woman she is, being the mother she is, and being able to support you, lift you, guide you to be the man you are and the father you are, and the gift of fatherhood and grandfatherhood, by extension, leader to us out, out here. Because if not, if he's giving you so much trouble, you wouldn't be here. To be a different conversation. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, I rest
Well,
my case.
yeah, and you, I don't have to say a lot more. Maria, you know, just a perfect mother for my children. I mean, it does take a village to raise our children, and you've heard that before, obviously. And obviously, mom and dad are really important, and being on the same page, especially when they're young, especially in those formative years. The support that I needed, and she gave it to me, and I hope that she'll say too the support she needed, that I was there to provide her with the support, and together I really think that we work together to inspire our children, probably to do more than maybe they saw themselves doing. So
Yes.
it doesn't happen just like that. It takes a lot of things clicking for that to happen. So
And this next one is just by the way. It's your grandchildren's name, the three that I got: Legacy, Epic, and Honor. I said, what?
yeah.
How did they come about those names?
Well, I had nothing to do with their names. I have a lot to do with them teaching how to skate, teaching them how to skate. But I obviously they're
Yes.
the boys' mother, Anastasia, and the father,
Mhm.
Andre. They're responsible for naming them and for shaping them and for growing them and into
Yeah.
being the young person they are today, and hopefully that they'll realize the power in those names, and you know sometimes I would ask the kids at school. I was a principal for over 20 years,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes I would ask a young person, you know what is the meaning of your name?
Mm.
What does it stand for? I know it doesn't stand for being late every day. I know it doesn't stand for you not doing your schoolwork, you know and so yeah, I want young people to see their name as being meaningful, and sometimes the name that we're given, it
Mm-hmm.
really defines us. I hope so. I read something the other day that we all have three names: our birth names, the name we're given at birth. We had no choice over it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second name that the world gives us because of what we have done. People call me Hockey Dad and Teach.
Mm.
And then the third name is our secret name. It's what you want to be known for. And I want to be known as a difference maker. And it'll be interesting to know one day what my grandchildren want to be known for. You know.
Interesting. So, so let's take me for instance. So I have this name, Nanaya Yabua. Yeah, I was born on a Thursday, which has a meaning. It's sort of astrology to the name. So every Thursday, female born in Akan is Ya, and then the male is Yao,
Oh,
and
what's the male?
Yao.
Yao.
Yes, YAW.
So okay. So I was born on a Thursday.
Ah, That's why our spirits are in alignment.
Yeah, I was born. My mom said the kids were coming home from school when she was pushing me out. The midwife was there. And I said, well, that's why I'm an educator, mom. The kids, listen, the kids were coming home from school. So I
You were
was
ready
right.
to meet them.
I was ready to greet. They're walking by the gate. I was crying. When the midwife slapped me, they heard. And then guess what? The year I was born, so
Mhm.
I've spent a life in education because I heard those same kids calling me. I could
Yes.
still hear their voice, be my teacher, Mr. Subban, be my teacher. And then the first black person to play in the NHL, Jackie Robinson was the first to
Yes.
play in baseball. Well,
Yes.
Willie O'Ree
Yes.
was the
Yes.
first.
Yes.
And guess what year he was born?
Same year as you.
1958. So two things
Whoa.
happened. The kids coming home from school and the first black player to step
On ice.
on the ice in a professional hockey game for the Boston Bruins, who drafted my son. Wow. I mean, the connections are just unbelievable. But
Wow.
now I know my name in being born on the Thursday. Wow.
Wow.
The-
What you just said blew my mind. Earlier on, I had a conversation with a guest, and I do believe that, our futures are already mapped out
yes.
for us. We
Yeah.
need to do the work together. And at a certain point, when you connect the dots of your past, you see how it makes sense. It's like when I listen to you say that, the two of you being born on the same day, same year, and then years later, he's the same person that is drafting your son,
That
like,
league, yeah. Yeah.
into the league. It's mind blowing.
Yeah. Quite a few connections there, quite a few. But our future is not made in one day. So, like you said, yeah, it might be already programmed. It's like a seed, the potential in a seed. It's going to grow.
Mm,
So
mm.
maybe our future is that way. But I don't want someone having a bad day thinking that this is going to be my future. No, that's
talk,
only
talk,
one day.
talk about planting seeds, because I love when you have that conversation of planting seeds. Please talk about planting seeds.
Whether it's a seed it's like a dream.
Mhm.
I tell this story. Um, I guess I don't know if I can tell it about this old man. I use the word, that's a story I wrote. It's about this old man who
Mhm.
lived in a one-room house.
Mhm.
It had one door. He had a single bed to rest his head at night and a book and a table in one corner with a pile of books. And it had one colossal window. And below the window, he had a bucket filled with soil to the rim. And in it, he planted a lonely seed. And he nurtured the seed and it started to grow. And eventually, the seed was the same height as the window. And it eventually grew taller than the old man. And it reached the ceiling. And the old man had to do something for the plant to continue to grow because he knew that one day it would bloom the prettiest flowers that he's ever seen. Anyway, eventually he raised the roof. But in that seed, the old man saw the potential of the plant, and that seed in every child is that potential that's in them, which we have to help them to develop and nurture and grow. We got to help them to find it, to see it, and help them. We got to feed it so that it can grow. But it's a great way to look at potential and what are we planting in our children, so that you attach character to me. Character, our character is shaped by the choices we make.
Mhm.
You know, what seeds are we planting in them? That's a way to look at seeds in our children, so that they're making the right choices. so that they can have the results we see for them. You
Mhm.
know, we have to make sure that we're building up their self-esteem, and they have a healthy self-image. We want them to see them as learners, that they have the ability to learn, grow, and develop. So we can go on all the time, but I
Yes.
really believe in planting that seed, and we plant that seed with love. You
Mhm.
know, while I'm on this, let me just finish this sentence. I'm like the preacher, and when I'm preaching, and I love when they say, "Preach, preach, Carl, preach." I was in I was in Kitchener Waterloo doing a presentation in a school.
Oh, just around the corner from me.
Okay, and you might have been listening that day. Who knows? But anyway, uh, so after my presentation, we had the Q&A. And
Hmm.
this young student got up to the mic. They had to lower it a couple of feet, you know what I mean? But her
Yes.
question was big. She asked me, "Mr. Subban, why do you love children as much as you do?" Wow, wow. It took me a long time to answer that question. I said, my love for children is the fuel they need to help them blast off
Mhm.
and to work through challenges to reach their destination. So that seed, we got to plant it and make it, and in love, and kids need to know we love about them, and we have all, no matter what they're doing, no matter how they show up at school and how they show up in our homes and in our places of worship, let's continue to love them, you know.
I love you sharing the story so much. When I was in Ghana, what we'll say class 5 or grade 5, I had a teacher, Mr. Saki. Between So we had class, say, class 5A and class 5B. I was in class 5B. He was a father figure. Like, you go to school, when he speaks, very, very, like, you are okay. Like, he's a father figure teaching you. So we didn't misbehave. I wasn't exactly an A student. I struggled through certain things. I was what we call a talkative. And this is what my talking has brought me. They didn't realize that it was something that could be molded. But in the other class was another teacher, Mr. Jiramado. He's deceased now. I didn't like him. I didn't like him because, to me, he didn't understand us as children. He wasn't loving enough, and I could care less about him. But Mr. Saki showed us what it felt like to be in a great class. And even if he's not asked you to do the work, you're doing it because you want to impress him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Wow. So it's so important for educators to connect, not just to communicate, to connect to the person.
Yeah.
And I'm a lifelong educator. In my office, I had three symbols on the wall.
Mhm.
For those hockey fans out there, the goalies wear a mask
Mhm.
because the puck can really do a lot of damage. It's a very hard disc,
Mhm.
and it's going to break bones if you don't protect yourself. That's why they wear that body armor, to play this sport. But anyway, the first symbol on my wall as a school leader is a picture of the mask, and that stands for knowing. Our children come to school wearing a mask, and your teacher, the one you love, he got to know you. And so we need to, as educators, we need to know our students as young people and as learners. The second symbol on my wall was a mom, sorry dads, holding the baby just like this. And I'm communicating the importance of caring. Our
Caring.
children need to know we care, and we love them before anything else. The third symbol, and everyone knows Terry Fox.
Yes.
Terry Fox, my idol, We were born the same year, by the way. And he played basketball at Simon Fraser, and I played basketball at Lakehead. His
Wow.
journey stopped in Thunder Bay. That's where I went to university.
Mm-hmm.
But here's my thing. When an educator, you take the time to get to know the student as a person and as a learner, and you communicate and demonstrate your care, you will inspire the learner and your learners to go higher, to
Mm.
go further, to do more, like Terry Fox has done to all of us as Canadians, and he's done the same thing with so many people around the world. So you've had some good teachers, and I have my stories too.
And not so good teachers. There is one that years later, as we got older, she apologized, and so she tried to get a hold of us and
Wow,
apologize
wow,
for not understanding where we were coming from. Because when I shared my story of, okay, I'm not going to say what I wanted to do to her. When I shared my story of where I was and how difficult life was. So for you to see me in school, I've gone through a whole lot with my baby sister, baby brother. I was a mother as a teenager,
yes,
taking care of them because my mom had to work. So I became the second mother. So I had a lot on my shoulders. So you see a teenager, you don't know her backstory. I wasn't able to complete all my schoolwork because I'm helping them and everything. So there was a lot. And she was not the greatest human being. But that is suffice to say, years later, she connected. I told her what my story was. She apologized and we became friends. But the biggest lesson she shared with me was that she she thought then that because we were in that private school, we needed to be so at a certain level, but she was putting us higher than our teenage life and brains were supposed to be. Years seeing me and the others she's taught, she realized that she did not have perception about what our futures could turn out to be. So some of us are doctors, lawyers, etc. So when she speaks to us, she's humbled that these children that I taught are actually become these individuals. So she needed to backtrack and apologize. And I did accept her apology, and we became big sister, little sister. But that is to say that sometimes teachers look at students not really understanding what is going on and write them off.
yes, yeah. I understand. John Maxwell has a quote: "You must touch my heart before you ask for my hand." And as a teacher, that's your job. Touch their hearts. Get to know them. Get to know them as a person. And you just demonstrated that. And as a learner, because I don't know how you can teach them. Because once I take the time to get to know you as a person first and as a learner, then that's when the connection starts and we start to
Mhm,
build that relationship that is so necessary for
mhm.
you to reach your maximum potential. But I'm happy she apologized.
Yes. So let's get to this other aspect of you, business. Because you are retired now as a teacher, as a principal, as a coach. Um, you are in a different phase of your life, which I'm loving, by the way. I'm getting all the accumulated wisdom with everything that you've done. Um, I understand you are a Maxwell certified coach. What is the terminology?
Yeah, I'm a Maxwell certified coach,
Mhm.
speaker, trainer, teacher. I also assess behavior using DISC. And I'm so happy that I'm in that arena because it has opened the door for me to help more people to reach their potential because that's been my life's work.
That is beautiful. Was it an easy transition for you to get into that part of life?
No, because that's what I've always done.
Mhm.
Um, you know, I've always been uh, I've always been in position where I'm working mostly with young children to
Mm-hmm.
reach their potential from, my own children and so many young people I've worked with in the school system. I coach many different sports
Mm-hmm.
involving children, from basketball to soccer to volleyball. And I realized the main work was to help them to get their to
Mm-hmm.
get to know themselves a little bit better and
Yeah.
to learn about what they're capable of doing and how to work through
Mm-hmm.
challenges,
Mm-hmm.
and still achieve. So it wasn't a difficult thing for me to do. It was, if anything, it's probably a natural thing for me to do.
Thank you. Thank you. Um, I have to give this code out before I forget. If you are if you are blessed, then you must be a blessing.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, oh no, I have to write it down. That and also that no is the price we have to pay to get to yes.
Yes.
So I, I,
Yeah.
I, I, I'm loving all these quotes, and your book is full of a lot of meat.
Yeah. Thank you.
For lack of a better word, a lot of meat. And anybody that doesn't have not grabbed a copy of it, please do, because as much as we talk on the show about a lot of his experience, you will get more insight if you have the book and you have the opportunity to go through on and on and on. Because I have stickered places, I have how do we call it, I have notes in it. Oh, and the three-legged stool story is also here. So please, and Malcolm in the middle is also here. Now, do you have your copy?
Yeah, I have it right here.
I
I have the hard,
You have
this
the
one.
hard copy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I love me some poetry.
Mm-hmm.
I love me some poetry. And at page 240 to 241, Jennifer Tran,
Yes.
it's like I looked at it as like, oh no, 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 no. I got to read some expert, or
Yeah.
you can do the reading for
Well,
us.
you're probably better off reading from there. But Jennifer Tran, can I give you a little bit of in
Yes.
my version here? I'm just trying to um, yeah. So I was principal in at Brookview
Mm-hmm.
Middle School in Jane Finch, and
Mm-hmm.
um, it was the school where I received my PhD in education. You know what I mean? I have an honorary doctorate from Lakehead University of Education,
Oh,
but
okay.
I learned so much. And Jennifer was a student there, and and she wrote this poem, which um, that my son-in-law,
Mm-hmm.
he was her teacher,
Yes.
and he sent this to me. It was some assignment, and he sent it to me, and he knew it would be of great interest to me,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
he was right.
Yes.
Um, and so yeah, so I haven't read it recently, but I thank her so much for what she did.
So I am going to do the reading, just excerpt of it, and it's titled "Where I Am From."
From, yeah.
Yes, I don't think Jennifer even thought she would be published in your book when she wrote this poem. Now she could say she's a published poet.
Yes, that's correct.
Yes. Where I'm from. I'm from the bright blue skies with a touch of sunshine, running around blowing bubbles in my grandma's colorful garden. Raspberries, lettuce, tomatoes, and so much more will soon turn into a dinner for a giant family get together. From loads of fights to crazy talks that ends with loud laughs and memories, endless memories that will always be with me. I'm from summer air that has a hint of weed, followed by the sounds of shots being fired. Now I know that area. During the months of May and July, I tell myself the noises I hear outside are just fireworks. But somewhere inside, I know an innocent man is about to die. I'm from a little house, a house built for four, but I live with 12, and that's three times more. I'm from Tuesday night tacos, five siblings, five tacos, each one of a kind, happily ending with no fights. I'm from the words of Mr. Karl Subban, a principal who taught me that practice and hard work doesn't make us perfect, it makes us better. Not only the things we do, it also allows us to become better people. Words that have been implanted in my mind that I'll treasure forever.
No.
Man, she's got so much potential. I wish she pursues poetry as well. It
Mhm.
is beautiful. It is beautiful.
Yeah.
It
It's
is beautiful.
it's about it's bringing, I'm crying inside of me with emotion. It is so touching. Um, and here's the thing, that the environment obviously is it's impacting her, but look what she created.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Wow, wow.
Yes.
Through my story, through
Yes.
my story, this is one of the most powerful messages from our journey as a hockey family. And this came out of some of the struggles and challenges that we were facing.
Hmm.
And I passed this on. This is, if you are blessed, well, you better be a blessing to others. And this is one way. No matter what the challenge our challenges are that we're facing, we should never make them bigger than the dream we're
Mm,
chasing.
mm,
Whatever the challenges are that we're facing, let's not make them bigger than the dream that we are chasing. That is, and I'm sure that Jennifer has a big dream, and she's chasing that dream. And whatever she's facing on a Friday or a Saturday night, you know, she it might slow her down. It might distract her a little bit, but it's not going to stop her.
wow. I grew up in a similar, around that area, not Jane and Finch exactly, but how do we call it? Western Road and Shepherd, close enough.
Yes,
And actually, York University was where I did a lot of my library work from school, because I went to school down U of T. So I spent a lot of time at York University. You'd think I was a student at York University.
yeah,
So a lot of this, I understood what was going on. But at the end of the day, for me personally, my ticket was education.
yes.
Get yourself educated, get out of there. But I didn't get out of this too quickly. I ended up working at Hamba Hospital.
Okay.
Yes, and then the old site, the Finch site, the church site, and then to the Wilson site, the new campus
Yes,
that they
yes,
built.
yes.
Yes, I
I know
worked
all
with.
three. I know all three well.
I worked there for a long time. I will say that I'm very appreciative of the experiences I had there and
Yes.
the opportunity that I got to take care of young Black girls that came.
Hmm.
because and this may not be professional as professional, but then I do what I call mama nurse. If you're a teenager and you come, I don't want to see you there. There is still a way. And I charge the parents our responsibilities of having conversations, the lifestyle we lead in, and not blaming other people, because they tended to blame the children. I said the children are not at fault. We as parents need to own. Yet still, I tell them we are in North America, which means there's always opportunity to take night classes, to do a GED, get your high school diploma, go to college. Your next baby, you have to come with a college degree,
Yeah,
otherwise don't show up.
yeah, yeah. No, no, you're
And
right.
they figure, how do you talk to these people like that? It's not a matter of talking to them like that. It's a matter of letting them know that this is not the end of life.
I know.
You learn, you pick up the pieces, you look at the opportunities, you use it to empower yourself and go to the next level. Because I went to university with people who didn't get a chance in Ghana or in the developing world. They come, mothers of 5, 6, starting from scratch.
Yes,
And some have their PhDs and are professors now. So what excuse do you have to
I
give me?
know. I know. Too many. We just have too many excuses, you know. And you know, I feel the same way you do. I mean, they say the home is the first school, the parents are the first teachers, and we expect them to be good teachers, and we
Yes.
expect the home to be a good school. And when the parents are not doing their best, and the home is not set up as being a really good school, then it becomes more challenging to get the best out of our children. And you know, and so many of them end up being lost.
Yes.
You know, so many
Uh,
of them end up being lost. And I'm not here. I don't like to blame, but you know, there are, if you're going to bring them into this world, you better be prepared to work with them to the degree that you must work with them for them to reach their potential. Let me just share this with you. So, there are 4 things that I try to practice as a dad, and I wasn't always good at them. One was time with my children.
mm,
You can't influence them if you're not spending time with them. And that's probably the most important thing that they need from you. Time with my mom and dad, especially when they're young. That's all they want. The second thing is they want your emotional love and support. You got to love them unconditionally and not showering them with gift, but they got to feel it. And they know it's authentic and it's real. And they need to know that there are boundaries we talked about.
mhm.
I always say my kids, they knew what the word no meant. There's no other meaning to know. It's a very short word, so don't think about it for too long. Okay? It's only 2 letters. What are you confused about? And then the fourth thing is finding or providing them with the resources they need to
Mhm.
chase their dreams and to become their best selves. First time with them. The second thing is giving them your emotional love and support
Mhm.
unconditionally. Say no. Like when you
Yes.
discipline them, say disciplining is shaping the will without breaking their spirit.
Mhm.
Because a lot of times we want to take everything out of them, even the
Mhm.
will and drive,
Mhm.
and then providing them with the resources but anyway, we were talking about parenting, and their parents out there need a lot of support,
Yes.
and we're, you know, I'm doing as much as I can, and so many people are doing the same thing. And I'm going to say to you that there are many parents who are doing a good job, and we're
Mhm.
not here painting them all with the same brush, but
That
too
is
many
right.
are not.
Yes.
I worked in this, too many are not.
Yes.
Too many are
Yes.
not. But anyway,
It's so funny. I cannot speak for the others, but I can speak for my people in the sense that I learned to break through attitudes.
yes,
And I realize the attitudes are because they think you're going to judge them. And so creating safe spaces whereby they can let loose and say, I need help. And I
yes.
find that that is very, very important. And
Mhm.
then people ask me, how do let me share this quick story. Years ago,
Mhm.
one how do we call it? The nurse was Caribbean and told me, "Oh, I can deal with this one. Go check on her. It's like she's driving me nuts." I was a young nurse then, so I went into the room. This girl gave me a huge attitude, eyelashes going back and forth and everything. And, oh my goodness. So I looked at her, I closed the door, I pulled the chair and I sat. I said, you stop looking at me, continue. I love your way your eyelashes are flattering.
Yeah,
She started laughing. She called me a hoot. I said, okay, now that we've gotten that over,
yeah, yeah,
what is wrong with
yeah.
you? Talk to me.
Wow.
And so that is how I got through. And I realized she needed help. She needed love. She needed attention. She didn't need to be judged.
Yes, but it only happened because you connected with her. Connection is we something that we need to be more intentional about.
Mm,
You know, the way your personality, your smile, the way you made her feel. She could trust you, you know?
mhm.
And so it's a lot of it has to do with you and your ability to connect.
Ah, thank you. On that note, I feel really good. But before we go, how do we find you? Your social media handles. We got to find you.
Well, I'm going to say this right now. Just go to coachkarlsuban.com. COACH, one word, KarlSubban.com.
Okay.
CoachkarlSubban.com, and you can connect with me.
And he's also on LinkedIn. If
Yes,
words come to words, Google Karl Subban and everything comes up.
yeah.
Oh, I don't know whether to call you daddy, to call you this is the African part coming out too. I don't know whether to call you daddy, uncle, grandpa.
Well, I'm
But
going to say this I have many names. I've been called Teach, Grandpa, Dad. Every time I'm in the mall and I hear Daddy, Daddy, I look around. So that's, and I've been called like my my first son, made it in hockey, very popular.
Mhm.
So everywhere I go, people, they don't even know my name. They just come up, are you PK's dad? Are you PK's dad? The other day, someone came up to me, are you Malcolm's dad? Are you So I keep saying I'm going to change my name. So, you're just joining the club. So, you know what I mean? I remember those names, the name
Yes,
you were given, you had no choice.
yes,
The name
yes,
the world
yes,
gives you
yes,
because of what you're known for. And then
yes,
there's a secret name. So you're right
yes.
in there. So you can, just call me daddy, papa, uncle, but never call me late for dinner.
I will remember that. I will remember that. Ah, Mr. Karl Subban, or as my people say, Owura, which means Mr. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate everything that you're doing. We haven't even scratched the surface of this conversation. I've left a lot of the questions for later. You have the children's book that was published in yes,
Uh,
the hockey skates
yeah.
that was published last year 2023, and
Yes.
you have another one coming up.
Yep, I
So
have Raise Your Roof, published
raise
will
your
be
roof.
March. Yeah, it's a personal development book. Now, just to be quick, I believe that everyone was born with potential. That's just a belief I have. You know what I mean?
Mhm,
And it's a universal belief. But over that potential, there is a roof. That
mhm,
roof is like the fear. that we're feeling. That roof
Mm.
could be the trauma that
Mm.
we're working through.
Mm.
And so the book is about raising that roof so we can grow some more, so we can
Amen.
do some
Amen.
more, so
Amen.
we can move closer to that
Mm.
potential that we were
Mm.
born with,
And get some freedom from fear.
and get some freedom from
From
fear,
fear.
and developing our identity, and but that's why I'm here. But thank you too for having me, and we're gonna do this again.
Yes, indeed. And I appreciate you once more. My regards to all the family.
Thank you.